Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. Sabbath blessings, one and all. It is the Sabbath. We've entered this Sabbath day of rest as of 5:40 this evening. It is a Friday evening in worldly terms, but it is the day of rest, which precedes the Sabbath, and now it is the Sabbath with from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. So Sabbath blessings, one and all. We're doing our nighttime devotion. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. The title today, A Life and Death Matter. Genesis 32 verse 26, and he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Jacob, in the great crisis of his life, turned aside to pray. He was filled with one overmastering purpose, to seek for transformation of character. It was in a lonely, mountainous region, the haunt of wild beasts and lurking place of robbers and murderers. Solitary and unprotected, Jacob bowed in deep distress upon the earth. With earnest cries and tears, he made his prayer before God. Suddenly a strong hand was laid upon him. He thought that an enemy was seeking his life, and he endeavored to wrest himself from the grasp of his assailant. In the darkness, the two struggled for the mastery. Not a word was spoken, but Jacob put forth all his strength, did not relax his efforts for a moment. While he was thus battling for his life, the sense of his guilt pressed upon his soul. His sins rose up before him to shut him out from God. But in his terrible extremity, he remembered God's promises, and his whole heart went out in entreaty for his mercy. The struggle continued until near the break of day, when the stranger placed his finger upon Jacob's thigh, and he was crippled instantly. The patriarch now discerned the character of his antagonist. He knew that he had been in conflict with a heavenly messenger, and this was why his almost superhuman effort had not gained the victory. It was Christ, the angel of the covenant, who had revealed himself to Jacob. The patriarch was now disabled, suffering the keenest pain, but he would not loosen his hold. He urged, let me go, for the day breaketh. But Jacob answered, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Had this been a boastful, presumptuous confidence, Jacob would have been instantly destroyed. But this was the assurance of one who confesses his own unworthiness, yet trusts the faithfulness of a covenant-keeping God. That for which Jacob had vainly wrestled in his own strength was won through self-surrender and steadfast faith. So this is the story of Jacob when he wrestled all night with the angel. And when the day came to break, the angel suddenly realized and said, let me go. The day breaketh. And that's when Jacob said, I will not let you go until you bless me. You know, even though it's talking about wrestling, physical arms around each other, wrestling, grappling. It's also the spiritual. It's about wrestling your mind, wrestling with self, which is our daily struggle, wrestling with self. Do we make our own decisions and do what we want to do? Or do we seek God's guidance and do His will, regardless what it is? Because many a time He will want us to do something and we will not want to do it. But we should, must. As I've said before, trust and obey. There is no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. We cannot overcome ourselves without His help, without His strength. This is why we must seek Him daily. And by His strength, by His will, His power, we can overcome. Enjoy Sabbath.